Shalom. I'm Rabbi Dovid Bendory. I'm the Rabbinic Director of Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, widely known as JPFO. JPFO was founded in 1989. From its inception, it has made valuable contributions to the fight for the preservation of American liberty. JPFO's late founder, Aaron Zellman, realized more than 20 years ago that someone had to speak up and speak out effectively against Jewish involvement in so-called gun control. Far too many of those who would disarm honest and law-abiding Americans were Jews. Aaron recognized the fundamental truth that only other Jews could combat those voices, and that we would do so based on Jewish religious law, teaching, tradition, history, and simple common sense. The phrase gun control is semantic trickery of the highest order. It sounds innocuous, but always translates into gun registration, gun owner registration, burdensome taxes and fees, and absurd regulation. Most dangerously, gun control leaves a paper or cyber trail straight to the doors of gun owners. Gun confiscation is only possible if the government knows who owns the guns. Aaron Zellman believed, as do I, that the present, fervent, almost infatuated embrace of gun control by liberal Jews is disgraceful. Not only is it morally repugnant, it goes directly against the tenets of Judaism's most fundamental teachings of the sacred nature of life and the Torah's clarity in our obligation to preserve life and to protect the innocent. Sadly, the voices of Jews among gun control advocates are even stronger today than they were in 1989 when Aaron started JPFO. Led by Jewish billionaires George Soros and Michael Bloomberg, powerful Jewish politicians like Charles Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, Frank Lautenberg, and Barbara Boxer are constantly pushing to expand their victim disarmament schemes. Jews did not invent gun control, but far too many Jews are compulsively expanding and refining it. Of all the ethnic groups in the world that should fervently embrace the right to honorable self-defense and the defense of the innocent, Jews, with our horrific history of persecution, should be at the very top of the list of advocates for gun ownership rights. So we have to ask, are America's liberal Jews driven by some sort of perverse, long-term, suicidal impulse? Because of political correctness these days, it seems that only a Jew can criticize another Jew without being labeled anti-Semitic. This was true when Aaron established JPFO in 1989, and it is even more true today. So here I am, an Orthodox rabbi, asking my fellow Jews who favor gun control, do you really care about Jewish history? Do you really care about Jewish values for the dignity of life and the right and the obligation to protect it? Let me state clearly, JPFO was founded to aggressively confront and expose the lies of Jews advocating gun control. We can, we do, and we will say what no other firearms rights group can say. Here are just a few of the remarkable achievements of JPFO over the past 20 years. JPFO revealed, with inarguable, documented proof, that the United States law known as the Gun Control Act of 1968 was patterned extensively after Nazi German gun control laws. We exposed the letter from Senator Dodd, the author of the Gun Control Act, asking the Library of Congress to translate the Nazi gun control laws into English for him. We then demonstrated how the same phrases and restrictions in the Nazi law were copied, sometimes verbatim from the translation, into American law. Do American Jews study history? JPFO researched and created the genocide chart that is now circulated around the world. This chart demonstrates the connection between citizen disarmament disguised as gun control schemes and the subsequent mass murder of millions of civilians by governments gone bad. Disarm and exterminate. It's a formula proven repeatedly by the tyrants of the 20th century. How can American Jews ignore the lessons of our past? JPFO researched and published Dial 911 and Die. With stark clarity, this book demonstrates that the police have absolutely no legal duty to protect you. Gun control advocates tell you that you need not own a firearm, just dial 911. Why would Jews, of all people, expect someone else to protect them? Where has this immense delusion landed us throughout our entire history? Have not the events of prior generations taught us that we must have the tools and skills to protect ourselves? JPFO was at the forefront in revealing the criminal activity that is commonplace in the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. JPFO's documentary film on this rogue and corrupt federal agency is called The Gang. Just look at the Fast and Furious scandal that is racking the Bureau today. How can Jews tolerate this type of authoritarian rogue government agency? The left-wing media of today allows this horrific scandal, this despicable and murderous perversion of power, to go virtually unmentioned in the news. How can liberal Jews, so well represented in liberal media outlets, participate in the Fast and Furious cover-up? JPFO produced the award-winning documentary on the Second Amendment entitled 2A Today for the USA. This film explains in clear terms why the Second Amendment is the guardian of all the rest of the Bill of Rights. America is the safest haven for Jews in our entire history. Why would so many Jews ignore a foundational reason that America has itself remained free? Our armed citizenry. JPFO revealed the racist roots of gun control with our groundbreaking film, No Guns for Negroes. Slaves cannot own or bear arms. Free people can. The minute your political leaders disarm you, you have potentially become their slaves. JPFO's latest documentary is No Guns for Jews. I was honored to play a major role in that film. It examines the suicidal insanity of Jews allowing themselves to be disarmed. It explains the foundational command of God to preserve one's own life and the lives of the innocent. I challenge any Jewish advocate of gun control to watch that film and show me the Jewish sources that contradict its advocacy of righteous defense of oneself and others. These are just a few examples of the things that JPFO has done for you and to preserve the liberty of all Americans. Please visit our website at www.jpfo.org and study the vast trove of intellectual ammunition we have stockpiled there. Now, I want you to understand something about all that we have done at JPFO. None of these projects, and none of the dozens of other JPFO projects that I haven't mentioned, happened for free. Every one of them took the dedicated and long-term financial support of JPFO's members and donors. JPFO has earned that support. We have earned your support. JPFO has earned the support of the entire pro-gun rights community, and I will add, from the entire firearms industry. I'm asking you here and now to please demonstrate that support. Please join JPFO today. You don't need to be Jewish to be a member. It's been that way since Aaron founded JPFO in 1989, and it will always stay that way. To be a member, you simply need to believe in personal freedom. You need to endorse liberty, and you need to embrace the truth of JPFO's Bill of Rights message. At JPFO, we advocate on behalf of all Americans. If you are already a member, please consider an additional contribution. We need your support to continue to produce what our founder, Aaron Zellman, rightfully called the intellectual ammunition to counter and defeat those misguided or deceitful manipulators who would perpetrate the evil known as gun control. Lastly, I must declare something with the utmost urgency. We are facing an election in 2012 that will be, for the lifetimes of anyone living today, a turning point in the path our nation will follow. The extreme left has taken the ball to the 1-yard line. America stands poised on an immersion into European nanny-state socialism. There is no room in this delusional grand scheme for the armed citizen. No room whatsoever. So, our disgruntled murmuring amongst ourselves must now be transformed into real action. Our complaints to our pals at the gun shop or range now have to be forged into real action, And lastly, the insane political correctness must end now. When you hear some misguided dupe or lying manipulator advocating for citizen disarmament, you must get in their face and protest. Either begin fighting for liberty and freedom yourself, or support those of us who will do it the most effectively for you. JPFO fills a specific niche in the fight for our firearms freedom. No one else can do what we do. Stand with us, support us, join JPFO, because freedom is not a spectator sport. Thank you for watching and listening. I'm Rabbi Dovid Bendory, Rabbinic Director of Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership. Blessings and Shalom.